And welcome to this again a session, 2 hour session. It will end anywhere between 90 minutes and 120 minutes. It all depends on how we are going to, interact in the program. There are a lot of doubts, a lot of questions, a lot of enthusiasm. This may stretch the programs to 2 hours. Otherwise, we have planned it for 90 minutes. So the title is Cost of Quality and Lean Six Sigma. So ultimately, this is what I'm going to discuss with all of you. At the end of the webinar, all of you will have a clear idea of operational excellence. Everybody wants to be, on the top. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be, better than the competitor. This ideology is called operational excellence, right? And how come this ideology of operational excellence, can be achieved by improving the quality, reducing the cost, maximizing the profit, keeping your costs low, keeping your profits high, keeping your quality at higher level is very, very important to win over your competitor, right? So that is the first outcome. And number two, philosophies behind organizational excellence. There are many, many big organizations who have already achieved excellence. To name a few, Toyota, right? We all know the Japanese-based company, right? So they opened the eyes of many, many other industries to be, systematic and they ensured that everything they are doing, they create some value to their customer, right? Because we can charge our customer only by creating value for what they are going to pay you. So such big companies like Toyota and Motorola, right? How they all succeeded? What are their beliefs? What are their core values, right? Inside the organization that we are going to understand. And then in the process, I am also going to familiarize all of you with so many tools. You're not going to master, right? You're not going to master so many tools, but you will be, becoming, familiar with so many tools, which might include quality control tools, problem-solving tools, decision-making tools, project management, team management, and communication management, and so on and so on. Which means a single course, a certification course in Six Sigma can help you achieve, several skills. People are running behind several, professional courses only to make sure, they stay competitive in the market and then they earn good money. But this is one single course which can really make you achieve all your career desires. And then once you master this particular thing, probably learning other things also becomes much easier, right? So you're all fortunate enough to attend this webinar and then know this particular secret. And then towards the end, as I already promised, I will provide you the certification opportunity that exists in the field of Lean Six Sigma. The different belt levels available. What are those belt levels? And then what we are doing, how we can help you in that, right? We are also into the same domain, and we are one of the institutions, best institution in the country, offering, a high class, certification to our participants. So you will realize once you go through our webinar. So of course, this is my profile. I hold a doctorate degree in mechanical engineering. Besides, I'm also a certified Six Sigma Master Black Belt, and currently I head a team of 20 plus Six Sigma Black Belts and Master Black Belts at Vision Excellence and handling 100 plus projects. And we work closely with 100 plus higher education institutions and 300 plus industries in the country, and for their quality goals and productivity goals and cost reduction goals. And of course, I am also an author and authored about 7 books and several book chapters in the fields of mechanical engineering and statistics. And I'm here to help all of you understand what Lean Six Sigma can do in your career. Right? Of course, being a webinar, I'm going to skip this, but generally I love listening to people and understand, knowing their background. But today I'm going to skip this for the concern of time. All right, so all of you can prefer to keep your video on. Of course, you are in mute, right? But you can raise your hand like this and so that I can allow you to talk and then you can ask your question. But definitely we will have a good round of interaction in the end of the webinar. And anyway, the chat option is always enabled for all of you. And one throw, two fruits you are going to get by participating in today's webinar. One good thing is, in all of you are going to get a participation certificate. All of you are going to get a participation certificate if you stay throughout the program. And this is the participation certificate. Another thing is the webinar will continue for one more session, right? Which you can learn it coming live with me or in a self-paced manner through the recording which I'm going to provide. And that will lead to, you know, a certification called Certified Six Sigma White Belt, right? So, so there are two opportunities, right? So how to join the second session, and for that you have to take some small step, right? And right now we have invited you for this free webinar, but however, in order to become a white belt, you have to take a very, very small step, and that will show how keen you are in actually, helping yourself grow faster in your career. So both the certificates formats are available, and this is what we will be learning in the part 1 and the part 2 also available. Part 2 is very, very important for anybody to say he is an expert in Six Sigma. I've seen several green belts and black belts having confusion in the part 2, because the part 2 deals with little statistics. It talks about control limit, it talks about specification limit, and specification limit, yes, this is set by the customer, but control limit is set by the process. Only if you have some good idea about the basics and fundamentals of statistics, and particularly normal distribution, you will be able to understand what control limits are. We use control limits to calculate process capability. We use control limits to plot control chart, isn't it? We use control limits to understand the extreme outputs that may come out of your process, right? For example, if I conduct the session and then at the end of the session, if I also conduct an examination, who is going to get the highest mark, how much it will be, and what is going to be the lowest mark, how much it will be, I will be able to make a judgment if I have some statistics, some data about all your past performance, right? And that's how statistics helps in predicting the future events, right? You can use statistics to understand what has happened in your company. You can also use statistics. That means you can use the available data to understand what is going to happen in the near future in your company, in your process with respect to your products and services. The previous one is called descriptive statistics. And if you use the statistical knowledge to predict what is going to happen, then that is called inferential statistics, right? And there are certain statistical parameters like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, range, and variance, and so on. So all these things I am going to cover in the part 2. Generally, statistics, mathematics, people are scared, but I'll see to that you all love mathematics, love statistics, if you decide to be part of my part 2 classroom, right? And part 1, no worries, everybody, will now go through, right? Introduction to quality, cost of quality, and then DMAC methodology and belt levels. All right, the first session. Hope all of you are excited to learn the part 1 now. Can I get a big yes in the chat box from the people who are listening to me right now? Please go ahead and let me know that you're all really excited to learn from me. Yes. Please type yes in the chat box. I could see a lot of people typing yes. Great. This is really great, right? I have some awesome audience today, and all of you are really excited to learn from me. Thank you so much. So let me show you the first part. I'm just taking you through. So these are the points for today. I've already highlighted. So first thing, what is operational excellence? Let us keep it, very, very interactive, and let us not make it a one-way kind of radio channel or TV channel for this webinar. Let us make it interactive. What is, first of all, excellence?
all of us, when we studied in school or a college, we have seen our teachers, saying excellent to some of the students. When a teacher will say the performance is excellent, either the student could have scored 100 out of 100 or he could have performed better than anyone else in the same class. Am I correct? There are about 50 plus people now. After completing the webinar, if I conduct an examination, a small examination, if you secure the number 1 position, then definitely your performance will be considered excellent. Same thinking if your organization has gets, then the thinking of your organization is now considered an approach towards operational excellence. That means any organization, any product, any service, there will be competitors in the market, isn't it? If your organization wants to be, number 1 in the competition, then the approach is operational excellence. If you really wanted to achieve operational excellence, then your performances, right, have to be at least better than your competitors. And Lean and Six Sigma are approaches that will help you to really achieve operational excellence. And operational excellence is not one-man show. It is a monumental task. Everyone in the organization should be involved. In fact, they must be committed. We need committed people to be involved in the process. Thereby, all of us can help the organization really achieve operational excellence. If I say the operational excellence is achieved, it simply means my product's quality is way ahead of the competitor's product. My profit margins are better than the competitors. My revenues are better than the competitors, and my operational costs are lower than the competitors. If you can achieve these kind of situations, then your performances can be considered operationally excellent. So operational excellence is the execution of a strategy. What is strategy? Right? The focus of your organization to achieve certain goals. Any organization will obviously have the goals, isn't it? So organizational objective. And in order to achieve the objectives, they will have certain strategies. Right? Now, so the strategic goals are nothing but the goals that can be achieved over a period of 3 to 5 years. You should not keep on changing your strategy. If you are keeping on changing the strategy,
What happened? Any issue? Why there is no audio coming? Is that audio not coming?
Audio input.
Let me reshare. It's going well. All of a sudden it stopped. I'm just sharing it again.
And operational excellence is not one-man show. The operational risk will be lower, operational cost will be lower, and revenue, everything will be better than your competitors.
Better now.
So operational excellence is a systematic approach for industrial organization to attain best-in-class performance in terms of productivity, in terms of quality, and in terms of delivery. So what am I saying here? You need to be best in class in terms of productivity, quality, and delivery. And definitely your level should be better than your competitors, right? So that is called operational excellence. All right. And now there are different business model exist in this world. And one is called the traditional business model, or the classical business model. And we are now going to understand the difference between the traditional business model and the operational excellence model. If it is a traditional business model, right? And here the belief is profit is always considered to be the difference between price and cost. The price of a product is 100 rupees and the manufacturing cost is 80 rupees. And so the profit is how much? 20 rupees, right? The company also believes that quality means modern technology, modern machinery, and highly skilled resources. These are all required to achieve the desired level of quality. And in short, better quality means higher cost. If you expect a high quality product, then obviously it will cost more for the customer. So these are all the belief. If your company is also believing, all these philosophies, then the kind of business model what you follow is the traditional one. Coming on to the other side, the operational excellence model. Here, the belief is better quality means better business. You take care of the quality, quality will take care of your business. Better quality means lesser defects, less rework, less buffer, low cycle time, right? That means you are trying to do things right at the first time. You wanted to be, efficient enough, right? You are efficient to the, you utilize the resources, you optimally utilize the resources or utilize the resources, the minimum resources that are required to achieve the desired level of effectiveness. No, absolutely no rework and no buffers, whether it is raw material, whether it is finished product, whether it is work in progress. That means your system has almost become a pull system. Only if there is a demand, you run your process. No demand, you don't run your process, right? So if you establish these conditions, then your model is considered operational excellence model. In short, better quality means cost will be lower. It may look difficult to digest my statement, right? Better quality, that means, the best quality in the market, best in class quality. At the same time, your product will also have a very competitive price. Customer will have no other choice, other than buying your product, right? So your market share will grow like anything, and such an approach, such a commanding, approach is called, operational excellence model. I hope all of you understand the difference between the traditional business model and operational excellence model.
Yeah. So if there are any questions at this stage, people can type in the chat box. Hope all of you are able to understand what is operational excellence. We wanted to be better than our competitors in all aspects, right? And our strategic focus is quality. We don't want to compromise on the quality of our offerings. At the same time, we wanted to see to that, our pricing is lower than the competitor, and our productivity, our delivery, and then our revenue and all these performances are way ahead of the competition. That means we are not giving any room for competitors to outperform us. Even when we are today not the market leader, this approach will really make us the market leader in the shortest time. If there are any questions, people can type in the chat box. I would like to answer before we proceed to understand further about quality. Come on, guys. Any questions? Oh, why this is not showing to me? Yeah. So I think already there was a question, and I think I'm also the host or co-host. Co-host should also be able to see your questions, right? So that will get addressed. That will get addressed as we progress. So, and feel free, participants here, to ask me the questions. I'll be happy to answer your questions. So we move on to the next part.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Now.
Yeah. Any question? Yes. Just a second. I'm just reading the question. Yes. No, I'm not able to see the question. I think, host, you have to make me the co-host, right? I think the questions will come only to host and co-host. I'm a co-host. Then you read out, Priya madam, you can unmute and then read out.
Okay. This is a question from Mr. Uday. Low cost for client, not for manufacturer. He's asking whether it is correct or not.
Low cost for?
Client, not for manufacturer.
Yeah. See, in fact, for both, try to create a win-win situation. Why do you expect your customer to pay more for a particular product, right? So give more value, but don't charge your customer more. But at the same time, make sure you also generate the profit what you require. So price has to be lower, for you as well as for your customer. And then only they are going to buy your product. Okay. So good question anyway. So let us move on. So the next video will talk about cost of quality. Anything we do, there is a cost associated. For example, all of you are today attending the webinar. There is a cost associated. Cost is not always money. Time is also money. Your effort is also money, isn't it? The opportunities you lose, everything is a money, right? So there is a cost associated. And right now, all of you are attending a webinar, right? And this is called cost of prevention. Because by attending the webinar, by acquiring the knowledge, by acquiring a new skill, you can prevent a failure in the future. So this is called cost of prevention. This is considered cost of good quality. In case you don't learn certain things, and then in real life, if you are handling a project which requires a certain skill which you really don't possess, what happened? That will lead to a failure. And any failure also comes with a cost. Cost associated with the failures are called cost of poor quality. And the cost associated with prevention of failures are called cost of good quality. So that is what we are going to understand from this next session, which will run for about 20 minutes, right? I go for it.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when I say cost of quality, what is it? If you really wanted to produce a quality product or you wanted to achieve a desired level of quality, you have to do a lot of work, isn't it? You will actually design a product and then you develop processes and then you will hire people so that they can manage the process, control the process. Thereby the same process can produce the products meeting the customer's expectations. So that means there are a lot of work you have been doing to ensure you actually produce the product at the desired level of quality. The cost associated is called as cost of quality. And the cost of quality can be broadly divided into two categories. One is cost of conformance, other one is cost of non-conformance. What is this cost of conformance? You are putting a lot of effort, you are consuming a lot of resources to produce a product, and the product absolutely conforms to the requirement of the customer. And the cost associated is called cost of conformance. You can also call it as cost of good quality. You can also call it as cost of good quality. On the other hand, what happens in spite of your best efforts to produce product conforming to the customer's expectation, there will be failures. Hope all of you agree with me, isn't it? Isn't it? So those are otherwise called as non-conformances. Nothing but some defects happens. And the cost associated with the non-conformance, because you produced a product, but it is not actually meeting the customer's expectation. And so customer is now not willing to pay for it. So you actually end up rejecting those products, right? And such costs are called cost of non-conformance, otherwise called cost of failures, otherwise called as cost of poor quality. So there are two terminology exist. One is cost of good quality, otherwise the cost of conformance. On the other hand, you also have cost of poor quality, which is nothing but the cost associated with the failures. And again, the failures can be internal, failures can be external. What is an internal failure and what is an external failure? If the failure is detected internally by the organization, then it can be considered as an internal failure. If the failure is detected outside of the organization, like your customer detects a failure, and now now the failure is called an external failure. So which is dangerous? The internal failure is dangerous or external failure is more dangerous? Obviously, the external failure will be more dangerous, isn't it? You will also lose your brand image, and then the word of mouth will spread in the market. There are many consequences. And also, even if you wanted to correct the failure, you will be putting double the effort, triple the effort, because you have to send your executive to the field to correct it, right? So external failures are the worst things that can happen in any company, right? And now coming to the graph. The x-axis talks about the quality level. The y-axis talks about the cost associated, right, in achieving the desired level of quality. In the initial stages, you will be adding a lot of efforts to achieve the desired level of quality, right? So your cost of good quality will continuously increase, right? Because you wanted to increase the quality level. As the quality level increases, the cost of good quality will continuously increase. All of you are able to understand the upward trend of this curve. This is what is called cost of good quality. As the product quality continuously increases, what will happen to the failure? Initially, when the quality levels are low, there will be more failures. If you continually improve the quality levels, what will happen? The failure cost will come down. All of you are with me on this? The upward trend of the cost of good quality curve, and then the downward trend of the cost of poor quality curve. Am I correct? Yes or no? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Very good, right? And now, see here, when I combine the two curves, the curve will look like this. What is this curve? This curve is summation of the good quality and the poor quality. So initially the curve is coming down. That means the effort you are putting in to improve the quality helps in considerable reduction of the failure cost. And that is why the curve is coming down continuously. But after some point of time, though you put efforts to improve the quality, the benefits your efforts are giving are lower than the efforts you are actually putting. And that's why again the curve started going up. So the lowermost point in this total quality cost, this point is generally considered the acceptable quality level. What is it called as? The acceptable quality level. That means you can definitely improve the quality up to this point. But if you wanted to improve the quality even beyond the acceptable quality level, then you need to have a specific reason, right? Why do you want to go beyond? Because the further improvement, is at the cost of your profit, right? You may have to compromise on your profit because, though you improve the quality beyond this point, you will not be able to maximize the profit. But up to this point, your profit will get maximized continuously. But beyond this point, the improvement happens at the expense of your downsizing of your profit. So this is called acceptable quality level or desirable quality level. And now, cost of good quality can be of two types. One is prevention, another one is uppricing. What is prevention? All the activities that you are doing in your company to prevent a failure from happening. The cost associated is called appraisal cost. For example, you are doing a design review, you are writing SOPs, you have some quality management systems followed in your company. So all of them, why are you doing? You are trying to prevent the failure, right? The possible risk of failure you are reducing. So that is called prevention activity. And also everything is in place, but still you want it to be doubly sure. You will do a lot of appraisals, isn't it? Some quality checking and some audit, right? And reviews, and all those things are happening. So those are called appraisal. But both of them are considered cost of good quality, right? But in spite of the prevention, in spite of the appraisal, if still the outputs are not good, the cost associated will be cost of failures or cost of poor quality. And what is this graph? I have explained you the quality cost curve. And now this is your revenue curve. And look here, this is the point where the difference between the revenue curve and the quality cost curve will be maximum. That means your profit gets maximized at this point. What is that point? Acceptable quality level. Let us talk about cost of poor quality, right? Generally, organizations believe that the cost of poor quality is approximately around 2 to 5%. 2 to 5% is the cost of poor quality. But the reality is completely different. The reality is completely different because generally organizations tend to measure only the visible portion of the failures. What are they tend to measure? They tend to measure only the visible portion of the failures. What are those visible portion of the failures? The rejections, the warranty claims, the repair, the rework, recall. These are all familiar and common form of failure. The common failures, right, which any company quickly understands, right? And those are called, the visible portion of the cost of poor quality. When you account the visible portion of the cost of poor quality, you are right. The cost of poor quality will be costing around 4 to 5% of the sales. And now, when you look at my slide, there is an iceberg here. Hope all of you are able to see the iceberg. Am I correct? You can see the iceberg, right? But when I again ask you the question, are you seeing the iceberg or you are seeing only the tip of the iceberg? What will be the answer? Can I get an answer here?
Seeing only the tip of the iceberg.
We are seeing only the tip of the iceberg. That means the bigger portion of the iceberg is hidden inside the water. Similarly, whatever cost of poor quality that the organization is able to see right now, it's only a small portion of the iceberg. The major portion of the failures, there are a lot of failures are hidden in any organization. So organization must learn to visualize those failures, then they get a clear picture of the cost of poor quality. Now for your benefit, I'm going to uncover the water here. So now I have uncovered. Can you now understand the hidden portion of the iceberg is much more bigger in size than the visible portion? And same is the logic and scenario with the cost of poor quality also. When you also account the invisible portion of the cost of poor quality, and the organization can now realize 20 to 45% of their sales they have been burning in the form of cost of poor quality. And these are the monsters, right? I've expressed them. A few examples, right? Longer setup time, longer cycle time. The organization could never have thought that having a longer cycle time could contribute to failures. But actually, this will contribute to failure that will, eat your profit. Hope all of you agree with me, isn't it? Having a longer cycle time, will it eat your profit? Definitely it will eat your profit. Having excess inventory, will it eat your profit? Definitely it will eat your profit, right? Having a lower equipment effectiveness, yes, that will eat your profit. Anything that can eat your profit should be considered a cost of poor quality. You should not do such activities. Either you eliminate, if elimination is not possible, at least reduce, right? If you don't understand this, all these monsters will eat away all your profit and then your profit margins will be very, very thin, right? So either Lean or Six Sigma, both of them will help you to reduce the cost of poor quality and thereby will reduce your operational cost. If you want me direct, answer what Lean is doing and what Six Sigma is doing, Six Sigma will reduce the cost of poor quality. Lean will reduce your operational cost. Six Sigma will focus on your effectiveness. Lean will focus on your efficiency. What is effectiveness? How good you are in meeting your customer's expectation. How capable you are in meeting your customer's expectation. That is Six Sigma. How efficient you are, right? How efficient you are in utilizing the resources while fulfilling the customer's expectation. That is taken care by Lean. In fact, for any business, both are important. You need to be effective. You need to be efficient. If you are very effective, your customers will be very, very happy. If you are efficient, your organization will also be happy. What is the best scenario? The best scenario is win-win. Customers should also feel happy. Business should also feel happy. And that's the reason why Lean and Six Sigma are always now used as an integrated approach. Please note, Lean Six Sigma can be used as an operational excellence approach, right? And for that, people in the organization have to be equipped on the principles and philosophies of the Lean and Six Sigma approaches. And they have to be equipped on Lean Six Sigma tools and techniques. Only once people are equipped to understand the approach and understand the power of the tools and techniques, they can actually practice them and then drive the organizations towards success. Hope all of you have understood the points here with this slide. All right. So now I have a question to the audience now. I've been showing different cars here, isn't it? Can you try to answer this question? Which car is a quality car? You can either type in the chat box or you can speak out your answer. Come on, guys, you can respond. Whatever comes to your mind, please transparently share
Type it in the chat
answer
box.
to the question. I'll help you with my opinion also. Very good. And I could see somebody saying BMW and one more answer supporting BMW. And then two people only have answered. Now the third person also said BMW. Now Venkatesh said Hyundai and Maruti. I like this answer. And again, Mano said BMW. That means out of the answers, I could see half of them supports BMW and maybe some 30% supports Hyundai and Maruti, right? And now, if I ask you a question tomorrow, if you want to buy a car, which one you will actually decide to buy? Those of you who said BMW is the quality car, will you actually end up buying BMW tomorrow if you want to buy? The answer may be yes, maybe no also, isn't it? So that means quality should be looked at from the customer's perspective. From the customer's perspective. If you ask me, I'll say all these cars are quality cars. All these cars are quality cars. Thousands and lakhs of units have been produced and sold in the market. Without quality, how can you sell it to millions of customers? So all of them are quality cars. The only difference is customer segment. When you come to the Renault Kwid, the segment of customer is different. When you come to BMW, the segment of customer is completely different. The major difference is for Kwid, the budget that is there in the mind of the customer is 5 to 6 lakhs. Whereas when it comes to BMW, the budget is definitely 50 to 60 lakhs. Hope you understand the difference in the customer segment. Customer segment, when I mean customer segment, there are lot of people, right, in that segment who have the expectations from the product. If you ask the correct customer segment, the people from the correct customer segment, they will help you to understand their requirement. Yeah, as long as your product meets their requirement, your product can be considered a quality product, isn't it? Often we confuse quality with the luxury, right? BMW alone is not the quality car. All the car can be quality cars. What is the definition for quality? It should meet the customer's requirement, right? Now all of you are my customers. If you can comfortably learn from me, I can consider this webinar as the quality webinar, isn't it? I can consider the webinar to be best in class. I can consider the webinar to be world class. So what is required? All of you should be able to appreciate it, isn't it? All of you should be able to understand. There has to be effectiveness. There has to be efficiency. Within the allotted 90 minutes or 100 minutes, how effective you are to deliver the scheduled planned content in a way that everyone listening to you would understand. That is called, effectiveness. So you need effectiveness as well as efficiency, and thereby, your customer can be happy and as well as your business can be happy. So the answer to this question is all the cars can be quality cars. And now, what is quality? Simply stated, quality comes from meeting customer expectation. In order to make it happen, there are 4 activities you must understand. The first activity, understand your customer requirement. That is what I tried in the webinar also. I allotted 2 minutes, but I was not so much successful, isn't it? Only 1 or 2 of you spoke, right? So any organization, if they are, targeting for a best-in-class quality, the first thing they should do is they must fully understand the customer requirement, right? Either you can have a proactive approach or a reactive approach, right? Use as many tools as possible. Voice of customer, voice of business, tools like Kano model, tools like quality function deployment. Use anything that you want to use, and ultimately, what is the requirement? The customer's requirements should be, you should be able to thoroughly understand. If you have a problem in just understanding your customer's requirement, do you think you will produce a quality product? Obviously no, isn't it? The first step, understand customer's requirement. Then step number 2, design products, design services that satisfy those requirements. Now the design is ready. Prototype is also ready, right? So design is ready, prototype is ready, and the design is as per the customer's requirement. And now you will develop processes because you wanted to manufacture the product, isn't it? You wanted to manufacture the product, you wanted to offer the service. So you will now think of developing the process that are capable of producing those goods and services. It could be machining, it could be joining, it could be heat treatment, it could be assembly, it could be packaging, it could be billing. Everything is required, isn't it? So you need to develop processes that are really capable of producing those goods and services meeting the customer requirement. Now the job is not yet over. Now you need to see to that the people in the organization are able to manage and control the process so that the capability can be maintained consistently in the long run, isn't it? Because you wanted to produce products and then supply to the market considerably over a longer period of time, maybe for next 3 years, isn't it? So it is important people in your organization maintain the capability of the process consistently. It is for that reason any organization requires people like all of you. Otherwise, absolutely no organization can rely on the machines and technologies, isn't it? Because the variation is rule of the nature. Though you build a process will tend to deteriorate. Process will tend to deviate. The outputs will tend to deviate from the targets. So this is rule of the nature, right? So there has to be somebody who should monitor those deviations. Statistically, we call them variations, and control the variations so that the output that comes from your factory or comes from your organization can always satisfy your customers. Do all of you understand these four activities that are required to produce a quality product, or do you think one of the activity can be removed?
Yeah. So participants here, any questions to me at the stage, or shall we proceed? Any questions? Are we going good? All of you are able to comfortably follow? Yes. Yeah. And then we will proceed. If there are no questions, we will proceed. Just a moment. I'll just show the screen again. So the next session is going to help you understand what is process effectiveness and process efficiency. We have been talking about effectiveness and efficiency, right? So we'll clearly understand what effectiveness means and what efficiency means with respect to a process, right? So let me play it for you. And this is going to be a short session, just for 4 minutes. Listen carefully and then ask me any questions. Continue typing your answers because I'm watching. I'm physically available to listen to your concerns. Questions, you please put it in the chat, or any comments, you put it in the chat. I'll keep watching and then answer it after 4 minutes.
Process centric. Organization needs to be process centric, and process improvement, should be a continuous journey.
Yes.
Process centric. Organization needs to be process centric, and process improvement, should be a continuous journey. And then only what will happen? Your products can meet the changing requirements of your customer. Otherwise, what will happen? The same process will produce only same result, but customer requirement keeps on changing, isn't it? Every single day, they have a lot of expectations. So as the customer requirement changes, accordingly, your process capability should also improve, right? So process improvement is an important activity that every organization should undertake continuously. The process improvement is otherwise called as a Six Sigma project. Is otherwise called as a Six Sigma project. You will understand that, or a lean project, or it can be called as a lean Six Sigma project, right? You will thoroughly understand what is a lean project, what is a Six Sigma project, and what is a lean Six Sigma project, maybe, at the next level of the training programs. So a process will have two, kind of parameters. One is effectiveness, another one is efficiency. I already talked about effectiveness means your ability to meet your customer's requirement. Your ability to meet your customer's requirement. And if you are not able to meet the customer's requirement, and that means, you are ineffective. For example, I've been conducting this webinar, but you are not able to grasp the point. That means the webinar is ineffective, isn't it? But everything that I can explain, you are able to understand, you are able to correlate to your process, your business, right? And that means the webinar is effective, right? So the ineffectiveness in any process is termed as defect. The ineffectiveness in any process is termed as defect, right? And on the other hand, efficiency. What is efficiency? We use only just required resources. That means I don't overutilize the resource. I also make sure I don't underutilize the resource. That means my focus is on optimal utilization of the resource to achieve the required level of the effectiveness. This is called efficiency. What is efficiency? Don't overutilize, don't underutilize any resource in your organization. It can be manpower, it can be machineries, it can be time, isn't it? It can be anything, right? So inefficiency is termed as waste. So eliminating the wasteful activities in any business process is nothing but lean. Eliminating the defects or reducing the defects, from any business process is considered a Six Sigma approach or a Six Sigma project. Hope all of you understand what is effectiveness, what is efficiency. Effectiveness can never be compromised because it will destroy your customer's opinion about the product, isn't it? So effectiveness can never be compromised and efficiency must be optimized because the goal of any business, though it is to satisfy the customer, it is important to understand the business expectation also, isn't it? The business is running for some profit. Business has to run for profit, isn't it? If you really don't make profit, then your market share will go down, the share price will go down, and some of your stakeholders will definitely get affected. So in my opinion, a good business will take care of all the stakeholders' requirement, not just the end user of the product, right?
Any questions here? Please go ahead with your questions in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer if there are any questions. Or we can move ahead as usual, right? So participants feel completely free to ask your questions because there are certain things you can learn only, through interaction. You can't expect everything, by keeping quiet. It's difficult. All right. So now the next module will help you to understand, the industrial revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. And people, now use the term 4.0 very often. What it means. So how it is different from 3.0. And in my opinion, these revolutions are nothing but the organization's maturity level. If the organization completely relies on people, it simply means it is people centric, right? And on the other side, if the organization can automate and digitize all their processes with the minimum of human intervention or without any human intervention, that is what we call it 4.0. It's not that easy to move from people centric to completely automated and digitized process. So there has to be a lot of learnings. Maybe for learnings, there will be failures. Maybe for failures, there have to be resolutions. We have to resolve the failure. And to resolve the failure, we need some approach. We need some methodology. We need some tools and techniques. How all these, things evolve. And that is what this session will help you understand. And this is going to be another 9-minute session. Let us, go through it.
Era. Quality was considered to be the skill of the operator. The craftsman's skill is considered. Era. Quality was considered to be the skill of the operator. The craftsman's skill is considered the quality. If the person involved in the job, if he is skilled, then quality is assured. Those days are called the olden days. And then slowly what happened? The concept of interchangeable parts came. You know what is interchangeable parts? I have 10 machines. I produce products. Let's say I produce nuts and bolts, right? From all 10 machines. Whatever nuts I produce from machine number 1 can connect very well with the nuts I have produced from machine number 10. So no matter from which machine, right, from which particular plant you have produced a product, a particular element of your product, but still you can assemble them and then make it as a complete product. So that's called concept of interchangeable parts. So these lead to an era called the artisan era, and that is what we call it as Industry 1.0, right? Industry 1.0 means quality is considered to be the skill of the operator, and then slowly the upgradation is towards interchangeable parts. Different operator comes, different machineries comes, but still they expected the same result. That's concept of interchangeability. And then companies moved on to the next stage. What is next stage? They started measuring the characteristics of the product. They started measuring the characteristics of the product before sending it to the market. You call it quality control, right? They started using the gauges, vernier caliper, dial gauge, this and that. There are many things you use, and then you check the characteristics of the product. If the characteristics are not as per the spec, then you reject it internally, isn't it? And that is called quality control. And that can be considered as Industry 2.0. At the same time only, the Ford assembly line concept also came. Ford, we all know, the US-based company, and famous for mass producing the automobiles, isn't it? And they introduced the assembly line concept. What is assembly line concept? Earlier, the operators were moving from one station to other station to work on the let's say car manufacturing or whatever manufacturing, they are connected with. And Ford came up with a new concept where people don't have to move from their places. That's what we all have been currently following. Operators stay in their place. Rather, the line will keep moving. Isn't it? That means your employees, the people they don't have to put a lot of effort, put minimum effort. At the same time, they will be able to, produce the results effectively and at the same time in an efficient manner. So such an assembly line model also came. So this period was considered as Industry 2.0. And then Industry 3.0. What is Industry 3.0? The quality control. What are we doing in quality control? We are only checking. By checking, what do we achieve? We are able to contain a problem within our factory. That's what we are doing. We are only detecting the problem and then see to that problems are contained at a particular stage. We don't allow the problems to go beyond. But what is required? You just wanted to detect the problem, or you also wanted to solve the problem. It's very important. We not only detect the problem, we also solve the problem, that too at the root level, so that the problem cannot even happen again. So once the organization started realizing that, so particularly all these things happened, particularly in the Japanese industries, and that has gave birth to the concept called lean. Originally, it was actually Toyota, the company Toyota, which has modified the Ford's assembly line concept and then made it suitable to the Japan market. The US market was so big, that means mass production will be the best option, but the Japan market was not so big. But the customers, the people there in Japan, they expected different varieties. So flexibility is required. At the same time, your market size is low. So that made the Japanese industries to think something called batch production. Batch production with the flexibility to switch from one product to other product based on the requirement in the market. And they called that approach as Toyota production system. That has helped Toyota achieve fantastic results. Lot of best in class quality. At the same time, the operational cost was very low, and that has captured the attention of all the other industries across the globe. And so everybody wanted to adopt the Toyota's TPS, Toyota production system. So in order to felicitate, or in order to in fact make the industries use the TPM principles and the tools, the method was renamed as lean, and now all of us are using, right? And sometime later in 1980s, the US market or the industries in US were facing tough competition from Japan. In fact, the Japanese initially, they learned a lot of things from the US only, isn't it? Including the Ford assembly line. So they learned from US, and then they were now able to give a tough competition to the US industries, and particularly the Motorola, which was a US-based company involved in manufacturing electronic gadgets and other things, So they were suffering, facing a serious issue in terms of the quality levels, and particularly the competition from the Japanese industries. They were not able to, compete with them, and they understood that their quality is stinking, and then their market is going down, and so they wanted to come out of it. So that gave that urgency to improve the quality, that sense of urgency to improve the quality at Motorola gave birth to a unique approach, methodology, a philosophy called Six Sigma. And now it is very popular across the globe, not only in US, right? There are strong reasons why lean is popular today. There are strong reasons why Six Sigma is popular. And this period is called Industry 3.0. In my opinion, any organization will undergo these transformation. Organization undergo transformation means the people in the organization will undergo transformation. Initially, they will think about the skill, machineries, technology. Then they realize There has to be, reliance on the QC tools, quality control activities, and then they will start thinking about, the best-in-class quality, effectiveness, and efficiency. Then they will come to. So this is called the maturity level. Not every industry can quickly understand. Yes, Lean Six Sigma is required for my company. It is absolutely required. But then it takes time for the organization to understand. The organization has to learn from the failures. For that, any organization will spend considerable amount of time. But if the leaders in the organization, if the steering committee in the organization could understand that, learning these learnings have to happen, in a shortest possible time, then organization will quickly adopt, embrace Lean and Six Sigma and equip their people, and then they will start, attaining their organization level goals. And then the next step becomes possible. What is next step? Industry 4.0. Now your processes are really equipped, made capable, operating at highest levels of efficiency. Now you think of automating them. Now you think of digitizing some of them. The automation, digitization, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and all those things comes under Industry 4.0, right? But without going through this transformation, jumping to directly, sometimes can make your, can produce damaging results. All right, hope you understood how this transformation works.
All right. I think there are some questions, right? So client expectation changes based on personal performance requirements, right? And not looking towards the quality points. Okay. No, customer requirements are important. At the same time, we can't work for each and every customer, right? We work for a segment of customer. We work for a segment of customer, and we do a thorough survey to understand what, a particular segment of customer expects from our product, right? And we need to do some detailed study in a proactive manner. It can be a survey, or it can be interview, or it can be focused group discussion, or it can be, whenever your customer interacts with your business, you can just ask them about, how good your products and services are. And then you can capture their requirement. But whenever you are working with your customer requirement, what is very important is you must, you must make their requirements measurable. You must make their requirements actionable, right? And also, you should also prioritize their requirement. Customer wants 100 things, but I can't give all 100 things. I can only give 10. Then what is that, appearing in top of the list? So this is what, the tools like model and QFD will be, guiding you. So this is how the, customer requirements can be taken care in any business. So moving on. So the next, we will be now understanding, the Lean thoroughly. Lean is actually, the, what do you call? Lean evolved from the Toyota production system. So how Toyota production system came, and who were the originator, and who are the people behind Sakichi Toyota, Taichi Ono, and Shigeo Shingo. These are Japanese quality gurus who gave birth to a unique approach called Toyota production system, which helped Toyota, really improve their quality levels and then crack a big market for them. And and later the management gurus across the globe, it actually the results of Toyota production system attracted the attention of quality gurus, and then they recoined TPS as Lean. And then now every industry wanted to use Lean, like tools like Kaizen, Fivers, and One Piece Flow. There are many tools, and the Lean kit has got. And this Lean is very easy to understand, very easy to follow. Also, the learning curve is very short, and just within 2 to 3 weeks, an organization can start practicing many of the Lean tools. So what is this Lean concept, and what are those tools? And that's what we are going to understand in the next session for about 4 minutes. Hope my screen is visible.
So 1926, Sakichi Toyoto. That time Toyota was into loom works, right? They were into garments. And then they realized that no, there is a good market exists in the automotive domain. So he converted the Toyota into Toyota Automotive, right? In 1926. And somewhere around 1950, Eiji Toyota, the nephew of Sakichi, right? He visited Ford to study their best practices, particularly the assembly line concept. And then he came back, customized it. While customizing the Ford best practices, why he is customizing? Because he wanted to ensure the practices suits the Japan market. So he collaborated with the experts like Taichi Ono. We all know Taichi Ono, isn't it? The one of the quality guru who introduced the concept of 7 waste. And also there is one more quality guru who introduced the concept called mistake proofing. Okay. So you can see them here. Eiji Toyoto, Taichi Ono, and this is called Shigeo Shingo. He is the one who introduced the mistake proofing systems, Pokyo, right? So by collaborating with all these people, they developed a unique system for Toyota, and the core principles are right sizing the machine, right sizing the resources. Never provide the resources more than the required level. Self-monitoring machines. Imagine a car that can demand for adjusting the tire pressure, that can demand for maintenance, that can demand for the cleaning and other things, right? That means your equipments are able to monitor its health on its own, right? Some signal, some trigger happens within the system, self-monitoring machine. And as a result, the outcome is you can produce faster. At the same time, the cost associated can be low, and it can also assure the highest levels of quality. And most importantly, you will be able to produce higher in variety. For a single particular model of a car, right? You will have 2-3 variants, right? And all those things are possible. Since the Toyota production system garnered the global attention, and therefore it was studied by the management gurus across the globe, and finally they thought that this should be adopted in all industries, irrespective of their product and services, whatever industry you belong to. As long as a process exists, yes, there is a scope for implementing the Toyota production system. And so they gave a new name to that approach called lean. Lean in plain English, it means thin. Run your process in a thin manner. That means simplify your process. There is no point of there is no benefit of complicating a process and then making your employees to struggle to run the process. What are you going to achieve? Rather, simplify the process. People can effortlessly execute your process and then produce the results for the organization. That thinking is called lean. Hope all of you understood how the birth of lean, right? So 1960 it happened. Toyota Motor Corporation, and these are the originators.
All right. So hope all of you were able to understand how lean evolved, right? Lean evolved from the concept of Toyota production system. It is the Toyota production system. Today, we call it as lean, right? So like how a lean person can work faster, similarly, a lean process can also produce products faster. All right. So now we will proceed to understand what is Six Sigma, right? And meanwhile, there are some, information about the upcoming Six Sigma programs as well as the white belt programs that are getting announced in the chat box. And those who are, enrolling in the, for the first few seats, and you will be having some surprise benefits and which the team will be communicating. So please click open the link and to understand what is the surprise there, right? So proceeding here. And now about Motorola, and this is going to be for about 10 minutes, right? Motorola Six Sigma. Six Sigma is all about aiming for perfection, doing things right at the first time, right? And you need to be super effective. And then only your Sigma levels can be 6 and above. Your performances should be close to 100%, right? And this is what we call it, Six Sigma. And what is Sigma and why there is a number 6? And this big question you will be able to, you will be able to understand, or you will be able to answer yourself by participating in the part 2 of the webinar, what we call it as white belt. And generally for a white belt program, and this much knowledge is not required. But in order to keep the standards high, set the standards high, we purposely kept it at 2 levels. And those of you who are seriously interested in getting certified by us, seriously interested in seeing yourself as top 10% of the certified experts in the market, and you can prefer to join our white belt program, and for which a link is already posted. And the advantage is you get the course fees at a 90% discounted price, right? A rare opportunity which we normally give only to the webinar attendees, right? Since you're already part of my session, part of Vision Excellence, you are given that offer. So with that announcement, let us proceed to understand how Six Sigma evolved from Motorola.
1980s, Motorola Electronic Gadgets, and one of their division was manufacturing televisions in the brand name called User. There were a lot of quality issues. The quality levels were gradually going down. If the quality levels gradually goes down, you know what will happen? There will be field failures. The field failures are called the external failures, isn't it? External failures can be catastrophic, isn't it? Can completely damage the company. So such things were happening. There were a lot of warranty claims. The television sets were failing well before the warranty period. So the company has to do everything to set things right. There has to be service, there has to be replacement, claims have to be settled. Why all these external failures are happening? They failed to control the internal failures. The same thing is true for any organization. If you fail to detect and control the internal failures, these external failures will happen. This was happening in Motorola, and then Motorola has no option except to sell this brand. And a Japanese firm took over. A Japanese firm took over the same brand, User. And then that time the Japanese were using a model called Kaizen business model. And they knew all these things, the quality principles and all this process-centric approach, right? Their learnings from the best practices really helped them to have a systematic approach, and then they made the same brand successful, right? They made the same brand successful, and seeing the success of and now today it is called Panasonic, and seeing the success of User in the hands of the Japanese firm. So Motorola realized one thing, particularly the CEO of Motorola, Robert Bob Galvin. Problem is not only with the quality of the product, but also with the approach the organization has towards quality, right? Our people have to be, equipped much more than what they are today. And then only, these kind of failures can be prevented in the future. And so the responsibilities to improve the company, a tenfold growth in the next five years was given to two gentlemen. One is Bill Smith, who is an engineer like all of you. And another person, Dr. Michael Harry, who is a statistician, right? This combination of engineering and statistical brain helped Motorola, to climb the ladders, right? From falling down to a very good rise in the market, right? And these two, both of them, they adopted a lot of statistical approach, particularly a concept called normal distribution, which I will be talking to all of you in the next part of this class. Any process in this universe, right? Any process in this universe mostly will follow a specific pattern, a specific rhythm you can expect from most of the processes, particularly the natural processes in this universe. And when you visualize the process, it will resemble a bell shape. Such a distribution is called normal distribution. The moment you are able to understand the pattern, the moment you are able to understand the nature of the distribution, your process becomes predictable. That means what is going to happen in the future, you can predict based on what has happened already and what is currently happening. Based on the past and the present, the future can be predicted. This is called, the statistics, a number game, playing with the numbers, understand the distribution, and then take effective decision, right? And this is very, very important. Decision making is very important if you want to be systematic in your organization, right? So these two gentlemen, Bill Smith and Michael Harry, right? And Bill Smith, today we call him as father of Six Sigma. There is a reason behind. Together, they developed a statistical approach, a metric-based system for Motorola, and that helped them, improve the quality levels in their product by solving all the process failures. For solving all the process failures, they also developed a 4-phase methodology. What methodology? 4-phase methodology. Measure, analyze, improve, control. They started with measure because they knew that what gets measured gets improved. So they started with measure, then moved on to analyze, moved on to improve, and then moved on to control. By having this unique 4-phase methodology, they were able to solve all the process-related failures one after the other, and then eventually that made their processes failure-free. The same has helped their organization produce defect-free products, and that's how Motorola's products become very popular. And see, he's the gentleman, Carl Friedrich Gauss, a German mathematician. He is the one who introduced the theory of normal distribution, how this universe is functioning, right? There are plenty of data we collect from space, we collect from the climatic conditions. Similarly, if you also collect data from your business process, you will realize your data is following a specific pattern, a specific distribution. By understanding the nature of the distribution, you can predict on what is going to happen from your business process in the near future or even in a long term. That all depends on the quality of the data that you have in your hand. So the data-centric, process-centric, and a methodical approach towards quality is nothing but Six Sigma. So these two people, they named the methodology as Six Sigma methodology. You know why? According to the theory of normal distribution, if you center your process at a point, which is at a distance of 6 sigma units from the nearest rejection point, from the nearest rejection limit, your process will start producing defect-free products. This statement will be very difficult to understand. I'm sure none of you could have understood. I'll repeat the statement for you, but definitely I'll make it very clear, very, very clear tomorrow. If you center your business process at a point 6 sigma distance from the nearest rejection limit. What is rejection limit? Your customer will always give tolerance, isn't it? Customer, for example, a dimension, 100 mm. 100 mm plus or minus 0.5. Now, what is the upper limit? 100.5. What is the lower limit? 99.5. Anything beyond these limits, your customer is going to reject. Now, where should you center your process? You center your process on the target. Then what is the target? 100. Now, if you are centering your process on the target, which is 100, the distance of 100 from the nearest rejection limit, what is a rejection limit? 100.5. If the distance between 100 and 100.5, how much it is? 0.5. If this 0.5 can be equated to 6 times sigma of your process data, your process will be called Six Sigma process. Under such situation, your process will definitely start producing defect-free products. If at all there are any defects, it is estimated that the number of defects will be limited to 3.4 DPMO. Just 3.4 defects per million opportunities. So what is this 3.4 DPMO? What is this sigma and why it is 6 sigma? You get a clear picture if you sit in my next class, right? And for that, some commitment is required. You need to take a little more interest to listen to me, and so that I can actually teach you this little stats behind that, and then you will be able to appreciate why it is called Six Sigma. So these initiatives by so many projects, so many improvement projects in the manufacturing as well as non-manufacturing areas within Motorola helped Motorola save $16 billion within a span of 5 years, right? And then in 1988, Motorola was also awarded Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award for the best practices they had in the factory, right? And it is for that reason Bill Smith is known as father of Six Sigma, right? And after the demise of Smith, of course, he left in a very young age. And then it is Dr. Michael Harry popularized Six Sigma, right? It is Michael Harry who popularized Six Sigma. And Motorola created a university for to just train their own employees, right? Just to train their own employees, Motorola University was created because they realized that, this learning is very, very essential to all the professionals, including each one of you. Without this learning, people really cannot contribute to the organization, towards attaining the organization goals. You may be doing your work, but how can you actually use your potential to contribute to the organization's growth? And that is measured in terms of, the different belt levels. That was created by Michael Harry. White belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, master black belt, champion, and sponsor. There are several steps. You can move slowly, but what is important is you must start moving, isn't it? So what is white belt and what is yellow belt and everything?
So any questions here at this stage? Are you all really interested in learning more? Or any questions here? Come on, guys. Okay. So Six Sigma is an approach, right? Yeah, I could see a lot of yes. So Six Sigma is an approach to achieve, best in class quality. How quality is built? By resolving all the quality problems. Tell me a company which doesn't have quality problem. Every company has quality problem, right? Simply hiding the problem doesn't help you. We have to solve the problem. We have to solve it in a way that it doesn't come again. If you really wanted to see that the problem doesn't come again, then you have to fix the problem at the root. Fixing a problem by attacking its root cause is called a systematic way of problem solving. And in order to systematically solve every problem, right, quality problem, and Bill Smith and Michael Harry together, they developed a methodology, MAIC, measure, analyze, improve, and control, right? The doctors, medical doctors also use the same methodology. For any health issue, when you go to a doctor, and the first thing they do is they do diagnosis, because they clearly know and believe that only what gets measured gets improved. If you can't measure something, and obviously you can't control and you can't improve, right? So they started with measure, then moved on to analyzing for the root cause, and then they moved on to improve to offer the solution. Then further they moved on to control to see to that the same problem doesn't come again. So when Motorola introduced the methodology, it had only 4 phases: measure, analyze, improve, and control. But later, having inspired with the results of Motorola, a big company called General Electric, they adopted Six Sigma in 1995. And it is General Electric, and under the leadership of its CEO, Jack Welch, they modified the Six Sigma methodology from MAC to DMAC, because they thought that defining the problem is much more important than measuring or before measuring. And so they added D in front of the MAC, and that's how MAC has become DMAC. And from 1995 till today, the methodology is staying on top of every other methodology. And in my opinion, this is the superior methodology every professional must learn if they are seriously interested in fixing a complex issue. Any simple issue, X and Y can fix, but experts are required only to solve only if the problem is really complex, right? And what is this DMAC methodology, and what are the important activities? And that is going to be our next learning. So let me share the screen. All right. And this is again going to be under 4 minutes.
Applied across all industries. So what is defined? Express your problem in terms of numbers. If you are not able to express a problem in terms of number, please understand you do not know what is the problem. If you don't even know what is the problem, how are you going to solve it? So that's why General Electric introduced this phase. Express your problem in terms of numbers. If you're not able to do it, you should not proceed further. The first step in problem solving is define your problem in the form of a number. Then you measure it. Defining problem in number means you are making it measurable. When you are measuring, the problem is people always measure with error. There are several reasons. They don't know how to measure, or the equipments are bad, or the instructions are bad, or the environment is bad. People always measure with the error. When you measure with the error, how do you understand the intensity of the problem? The intensity will project it wrongly. A small problem will look bigger, a big problem will look smaller. Will you be able to solve under such conditions? Definitely no. It's very important you get a clear picture of the problem. You get a correct intensity of the problem. So the baseline performance can be correctly understood only when you learn to collect data without error. So measurement system analysis comes into picture. Validating measurement system is very important. That is what we will be teaching you. You will be learning in the measure phase. So you learn to collect error-free data to understand the clear picture of the baseline. Now the baseline is available. Target is set in the define phase. The gap in performance becomes the candidate for the analyze phase. Why there is a gap in the performance? What is the root of the problem? I want to see the root of the problem. I also need an evidence for the to say that this is the root of the problem. Without evidence, do you think the organization will allow you to make whatever changes you wanted to make? No organization will believe all the statements and all the time. Particularly when the organization mature enough, you should be able to justify any claim that is coming. You know, as a subject matter expert, you know this is the cause, but still your boss may not be a subject matter expert. Then how will you convince him? You require data. You will have to statistically validate the claim to get the buy-in of the management, buy-in of your boss to make changes in the process. We will not only teach you the fundamental YY analysis and fundamental cause and effect analysis, we will also teach you the statistical way of validating the root cause in the analysis phase, which is very, very important, particularly when you are dealing with a critical problem, when you are dealing with improving a critical process. These steps must be followed. You just cannot, violate this sequence or miss to run any of this phase. And so you validate the root cause. Now you are really in a good position to talk about the solution to the problem. In my opinion, if you don't go through define, measure, and analyze space properly, you are not even fit to talk about the solution. But having defined the problem, having measured the problem, having analyzed the process for the root cause, you can now really talk about the solution. What is solution? Providing a treatment. In medical world, people use the word treatment. Same way, in statistics, optimizing the input factor. See, the output factor is the problem, which is Y variable. Now we shifted our focus from Y variable to X variable. I now optimize the X variable so that my Y variable will get optimized. I will continue to see that my X stays at the optimized level so that my Y will also stays at the desired level. This is called control. A matured way of, looking at problems. I would say it can also be used as a research methodology. Even if you are a researcher, you can use this methodology and it can direct you very well. So you will get most out of out of your efforts. So this is called Six Sigma methodology. So any Six Sigma project will have about near about 32 activities, right? 32 activities, and all of them are listed here, right? But we are going to make you learn all these important events in the project perfectly. For that, we are going to teach you on the DMAC methodology in a step-by-step method, like hand holding a child. Every phase has been carefully broken down into 3 simple steps. Define phase. What is define phase? First, you must identify a project which the organization really want to solve, right? And then you need to prioritize projects. If there are many projects, how are you going to prioritize, right? And then you need to create a complete plan. A little bit of project management knowledge is also now required. You need to create a project proposal which can immediately convince the boss or the management. We are going to call him the sponsor. And so what happens? Your project comes into life. So the main outcome of the defined phase is approved project charter. And now the journey continues. Measure, there are 3 steps. Analyze, there are 3 steps. Improve, there are 3 steps. Control, there are 3 steps. So your learning journey with us is going to be 15 simple steps to systematically eliminate the defects as well as the waste, isn't it?
All right. So this is what you will be in essence learning in any certification training program. If you expect your journey to be a cakewalk, and not just a cakewalk, it should really make you an expert after the walk, which is very, very important, right? And that is what we are promising. And over and above, all our training program comes with Government of India certification. And in my opinion, going through the ladder, which are set by Dr. Michael Harry, white belt, and then going to green belt. In between, there is also an yellow. Maybe the yellow you can skip for to take advantage of the time and the money and the effort. But definitely going through the white and then green and then black and then master black will definitely make a big difference, and you'll see a better version of yourself the moment you complete these kind of courses. And tomorrow is going to be the continuation of the session, and there is a payment link which has been shared in the chat. And those of you who are seriously interested to have a real level of knowledge required to call you as a white belt. Even the statistics will become sweeter tomorrow, right? And for that, you just have to make a small step. And most of the time, we all come with the mindset of saying that we really don't have time for all these learning. And today itself, I found it difficult to be in the session. And how come I can pull my time for tomorrow, right? And these are all we call it the elephant mindset. An elephant, which is having a weight of about 900 kg and above, strongly believes that it can't break a small chain which is holding him for years together. Same is the situation you are also now standing. You might think that you can't overcome all these barriers of not having a money, barriers of not having time, barriers of not putting some extra effort. And new learning the learning is simply earning. If you learn more, that's the only way you can earn more, right? If you are not going to learn and do repeat what you have been already doing, then you will be repeating the same result. But what all of us want in our life is better result, much better result, right? And for that, new learnings are absolutely essential. And this is the one single course which can really transform you to an expert level. I'm sure all of you have a fantastic domain knowledge in your field, but still, to be successful, you realize that there is some gap. That gap will get fulfilled now. Any domain knowledge, when added with the statistical knowledge, number game, to run a family also, you should know how much is coming to your monthly basis and how much you are spending and how do you invest. This number game is very important, right? So similarly, how to play the number game while solving complex quality problems in your company. And this will really make you much needed expert in your domain. And if some of you are already into any business, you are an entrepreneur, yes, you also deserve these skills so that you can direct your company in the right direction and to succeed in the earliest time. So this white belt program will continue tomorrow, and again 90 minutes of learning, and again you will see me live, and then I will see to that you get all your questions answered, and importantly the statistical doubts which you go to any green belt, any black belt, today they are in the market. They do, be scared to answer this question, what is Six Sigma? But right after your white belt certification, you will have an absolute clarity on what is Six Sigma and how this 3.4 DPMO comes and all those stuff. And also we have a green belt training program, which is coming on, I think 28th of this month. And those of you who realized that, you are at the right platform. You are talking to a right mentor for your Six Sigma journey. Then you can straight away register for the Green Belt training program, which we are commencing on 28th. If you are already a Green Belt from some organization, yes, you can elevate your understanding about Six Sigma by enrolling for the Black Belt with us, right? And again, the Black Belt is also starting on the same date, and all of you can register. And the beauty is both the Green Belt as well as the Black Belt comes with Government of India certification. It is an all-inclusive program. And those of you who are registering for the white belt, and you have some surprise gifts from us if you register now, right? You will get the Sigma level calculator, and the project templates free of cost, which are worth about 8,000 rupees. And you just click open the link and just make a payment of 236 instead of 2,360. The white belt certification cost is 2,360 and 90% discount there. So pay just 236, and you'll be inside the classroom, and you will also get certified as white belt. And over and above, you will also getting benefits worth 8,000 rupees just for taking the first step right now, right? And those of you seriously interested, please go ahead. And similarly, those of you who wanted to go for the Green Belt or the Black Belt with Government of India certificate, right? And again, ask for the link. Our team will share. I think already the Green Belt details are posted. Please copy the information in the chat, and then you can register. And again, those who join today the Green Belt, register for the Green Belt or the Black Belt, and you will get an additional training on statistical analysis using Minitab by me. And that will also be included in your package, besides getting all the templates and calculator, right? And this is what we could do it for you, and just for taking the steps faster, right? And again, back to the learning mode. Are there any questions? And I'll be happy to clarify if there are any questions. And participants here, please ask your questions and doubts. And there are many people who have already enrolled for the white belt, Magalakshmi, and then Arun, and then Swapnil. And congratulations, all of you. And I think the team is there to support you on how to attend the class, and then how to receive all the bonuses. Any questions anybody would like to ask? All right, so if there are no questions, we can close the session here, and then we will meet again in the part 2 of the white belt program. All right, thank you guys. Bye-bye. I think the recording needs to be stopped.